Absolutely. Well, the teams are lined up on the field, and we will pause now for the national anthems. Brilliant atmosphere here at Murrayfield today. Kick-off just moments away. Scotland versus Italy. Let's get some last-minute predictions. Peter Wright.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tight and close, but I think Scotland will just have enough to win.
Johnny Beattie.
Same as Righty. I think it is going to be tight. First half, very, very close, but Scotland by 10 in the end.
Tom.
Yeah, for me it's all about the win, it's all about the 5 points. I think they'll get the win. I'll be less confident about getting the 4-try bonus point.
Round 5 of the Six Nations, Scotland versus Italy. Can Scotland finish the campaign on a high, or are the Italians ready to spring another final day shock on the road? Let's find out in the company of Peter Wright, Johnny Beattie and Stuart McFarlane.
Yeah, thanks again, Andy. So the teams out on the park, stripped and ready for action. The last of the Scotland players to remove the tracksuit, Kyle Stein. Scotland this afternoon will be playing in their light pink jerseys with the dark blue shorts and the pink socks with the dark blue trims, and Italy in their familiar royal blue uniform with the white trims, white numbers on the backs. And both sides at the moment in their respective huddles just before we get the match underway. Angus Gardner, the referee, the man in the middle, and this match will just get underway in a few moments' time as the ball makes its way onto the pitch. Scotland players just making their way from the huddle, taking up position, and Italy remaining a group of concentrated individuals. The ball now with our match referee And it's handed to the Italians, who will get this match underway through Paolo Garbisi, the Montpellier fly half, 24th international cap for him this afternoon. Italy will be playing from left to right in this first half, so they will be playing towards the south stand as we watch from our position in the Murrayfield commentary box. And the skies, a fair bit of cloud overhead, but barely a breath of wind around Murrayfield. And a countdown of 10 seconds now underway. And this final instalment for these sides in the 2023 Six Nations Championship gets underway. And the ball immediately gathered by Jack Dempsey, the Scotland number 8, taken on by Van der Merwe, up and beyond the 22, but stopped short of the 10-metre line. 5 metres in from touch on the Scotland left-hand side, recycled by White. Little pop pass there by Turner, solid collision. Fischetti will get back to his feet and back into possession, the Italian loose head prop. Meanwhile, Ben White lines up the box kick from in between the 10 and the 22, still on that Scotland left-hand side. Underneath it gathered Tommaso Allen, we mentioned in the build-up, 30 next month, and now 412 international points to his name. Going in there, Fusco shifting the ball into a central position for the Italians to work it up towards their own 10-metre line, forcing Scotland back closer towards halfway. Fusco again looking to recycle, it's pinged forward. And underneath that one is Blair Kinghorn, juggling with the ball but doesn't knock it forward. Inside. Then leathers it right-footed downfield, and that beginning to drift towards the touchline. The assistant near side raising the flag, the ball going out of play. We've played just over the opening minute of the match. Scotland 0, Italy 0.
Yeah, positive start, good take for Dempsey, but just that offload, isn't it? Just try and keep that ball alive. We tip on for George, turn it to Schumann, so they're obviously going to try and move that point of contact. At the same time, probably play a tactical game and try and make Italy play for deep.
Thrown in by Catera, the Italian hooker, in between the Italian 10 and 22 on their right hand side. Forward now comes Fusco, delivering the ball, taken on by Minicello, looking to work it out towards that left hand side, or that left portion of pitch between the 10 and 22, then pinged forward by the fullback Allen down towards the edge of the Scotland 22. White. Smith is able to play a flatter kick, bounces once and is gathered by the Italian fullback. Takes plenty of height and distance on that kick. 2 Scotland players back inside the 22. One finds the other. It's now with Van der Merwe receiving the pass from the right wing there from Kyle Steyn, and Scotland now up to close to within that 10-metre line. They've conceded the penalty though, so Italy will have an opportunity inside Scotland territory. Choice here for them inside the opening 2.5 minutes after Scotland penalised for not releasing.
And exactly what Scotland didn't want in the opening exchanges. We talked pre-game about the territory battle, forcing Italy to play out from deep. Kyle Steyn opting to ship that ball into Duhan van der Merwe. He runs out of his own 22. Poor collision in the midfield, gets turned over. Exactly what Scotland would have wanted to do to Italy. Italy have done to them. A little bit of a schoolboy start. Option for 3 points right in front of the sticks, righty.
Yeah, I think they're asking for a slightly dangerous tackle there. Gardner's just said he fell into it, so didn't think it made a difference. Also thought Fischetti was on his knees on the body of Van der Merwe. Issue you've always got, Southern Hemisphere referees, 2 Northern Hemisphere teams. It's sometimes just take a little bit of time to get into his interpretations of the breakdown.
In any case, you're asking for trouble. If you take the ball not on the full, not going forward, and you're backward passing to your own 22, you have no momentum. Really difficult to work.
Tommaso Allen's kick there from 38 metres out, just wide of the uprights there, so he stays on 412 points, 66 conversions, 66 penalties, 1 drop goal and 13 tries for the fullback. And Scotland then have the ball now with Kinghorn bouncing it 2-3 times inside that 22. Crowd cheering on the home side as Kinghorn drops one. Drop kick which gets down towards a halfway line. And Italy are able to gather possession of the ball again. In behind is Fusco. Again mopping up the Italians just inside the Scotland half of the field. Fairly central position. Another penalty this time not released, not rolling away.
Out of the runway.
Screwman, the player penalised on this occasion. So second Italian penalty, central, but closer, much closer this time to the halfway line.
Yeah, and he's penalised Schumann there for not rolling away. I thought he had rolled far enough to get out the road to let the Italian player come in, but the referee deemed it, because what happens then, George Turner then goes in as a second man and his hands on ball, and what the referee's saying is the Italian player didn't have the rights to try and drive him out the road. Yeah, looking at the replays, probably not far away from being right.
Hey guys, don't play the arm, number 4.
Upshot though, 2 real big contact areas for Scotland, 2 penalties conceded, and now potentially a launch strike play for Italy in heart of Scotland's 22.
Go towards the back of the line, contested by the Scots, but Italy are able to gather possession. Capera goes in to join the drive, 15 metres in from touch on the Italian right hand side. Now they get a little bit of momentum going. Fusco, the scrum half, just standing back, trying to haul a few Scottish players out the way, one of them being Sam Skinner. The advantage coming the way of Italy as they've worked it up towards that 5 metre line, then forced sideways, but still going forward, getting closer and closer towards the corner with the advantage. They're going ever closer to that Scotland try line, and tidy stuff just at the moment as it's taken on this time by the Kuchenu, as Urcioni is the ball carrier through the hands now of the midfield. Gets a little bit untidy, is eventually picked up and spread wide towards the debutant JC out on that left hand side. All the time the referee was playing that advantage. They'll come back for the earlier Scotland infringement. Italy remaining deep inside Scotland 22 territory. No scoring, 6 minutes gone.
Where's the mark for the offside?
3 penalties in 3 minutes, and Italy looking menacing, rumbling forward with the rolling maul, knocking Scotland back, winning a few collisions as well. Warning bells for the Scotland side.
It's okay, you got the option. Got the option. Penalty here, or penalty in between the 5 and the 15.
It's a chance missed, isn't it? You'd expect them to execute that and score that. The try, I mean, the drive was good. Scotland defended reasonably. Penalised Turner. Turner went to deck but didn't collapse the ball. Penalised him initially, and then penalised him for. When he talked to Turner.
That was you for the offside and the speed bump.
Speed bump.
You're offside.
Yeah,
and offside.
So if you fall down in a mall and they have to step over you, that's I've never heard it called speed bump before. It's an inch off to look at that one tonight when I get home, see what Loy's contravening there. And then he was offside, which is fair enough, but they should have executed in the corner. Should have been a try in the corner for me.
But that's where Italy have kind of fallen down. They spent plenty of time, loads of line breaks, but they just don't capitalise. Scotland living dangerously. They've easily conceded a try.
Tommaso Allen from just right of the post inside the 22, 18 metres out, no problems at all. 3-0 to the Italians, 7.5 minutes gone.
It's quite an interesting decision, isn't it? Because the line out maul attack there was pretty good, was pretty dominant. Thought they might have went to the corner again, or they just want to get that scoreboard ticking over. Do they believe just taking points at the right times is maybe enough to beat Scotland? Big decisions.
Kinghorn already back on halfway, bouncing the ball a few times, gets a step or two back, then launches a high restart kick which will be gathered inside the Italy 22, and that was picked up there by Minicello. Slipped and went to deck, but Italy now they're making a bit of a mess of things just in front of their own 5 metre line there. Untidy handling from the Italians. Not the judge to have knocked the ball forward there. The box kick is gathered by the 10 metre line by Blair Kinghorn. Long loop pass, and suddenly Ollie Smith tries to dance his way around Italian jerseys going down to deck. He's able to weave away from Riccioni there, and Scotland now working their way up closer towards that 22. White recycles ball on towards Xander Fagerson, tries to swat away the cover immediately in front of him. White goes in once more, mops things up. Kinghorn takes it on. Scottish forwards lining up to try and carry with some purpose as White picks up this time. Thought he found a little gap there. Schumann, the loose head prop, determined as ever. Stopped some way short of that 22 though, still in the zone between the 10 and 22 and inside the Italian half. Central position just now. Scotland then winning the penalty. Very short advantage called by referee Angus Gardner, and the Australian penalising Italy on this occasion.
Number 4.
Yeah, kept the ball well there, Scotland.
Shot.
A little bit of movement. couple of passes, odd pass, just taking it through the contact, through the forwards, and it's just about making sure it's the speed of the ball. If Scotland get a really good quick ball, then they can start to play. I think they've got to get the ball at Tuipulotu's hands. I think Russell, when he plays, is a massive influence in attack, but I think Tuipulotu's that same influence, and you've got to get him on ball.
Interesting choice by Scotland as well, refusing the 3 points straight in front of the sticks, opting to go to their line out and challenge Italy.
Turner coming across, quick wipe of the ball with the towel.
Yeah, well, listen, number 4, I need you in. Okay.
The referee just organising the line out.
9 numbers.
Scotland now working it towards Jamie Ritchie with the throw. Turner finding Ritchie, then joining in the drive inside the Italian 22. 15 metres in from touch on the angle. Now heading forward. White reaching in with the arms to try and get possession of the ball, which he does so now. Kinghorn on towards Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe, nice little sidestep, stays upright, looking to try and offload. Eventually goes to deck, close towards the touchline inside that 22. White immediately on him. Bit of a bobbled pass there, picked up by Watson. White's in behind again, looking to recycle ball, taken on by Schoeman. Loose head propped up about the pass, takes it into contact. White in behind, Scotland still inside the Italian 22. Now Tuipulotu, some excitement from the Scotland fans as the inside centre is able to pick and go, but stopped short. And again Scotland having to work their way back towards the edge of the 22, forcing Italy back this time as they work it through the hands. Zander Fagerson on towards Kinghorn, Tuipulotu, Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe now running back into the body of the kit there rather than going towards the corner. Then again, route to the corner was blocked off anyway. White again goes in, has a little look at the options. Schoeman, the initial carry, tried a little dummy as Johnny Gray was just alongside him. White again. Scotland just biding their time to try and find an opening. 8 phases, trailing by 3 points to nil, early stages of the first half. Zander Fagerson up to within 5 metres. Scotland bundled backwards there. Gray the latest man to try and carry. White on towards Tuipulotu. Deft handling there, Kinghorn. Then it goes a little loose and astray, and Kyle Steyn scampering back to try and mop up possession of the ball. Scotland playing an advantage, so no immediate damage done there as the penalty conceded pretty much right in front of the sticks, just beyond that 5 metre line. Scotland 0, Italy 3, almost exactly 12 minutes on the clock.
Some decent graft by Scotland. Zander Fagerson, big carry, busting over the gain line. They actually get to defensive edge, they just can't get the ball away. It's Blair Kinghorn, 3 on 2, just foiled, but they tap and go quickly.
White works it back towards that left hand side and falls backwards again. Jones, Van der Merwe's got some space. Van der Merwe leaping into the air, was trying to ground the ball, but he was so close towards the touchline. And Hugh Jones coming immediately across towards Van der Merwe. Few shake of the head, the grounding was clear, but where was his feet, Peter?
No, I think it's the grounding they're going to look at. His feet were miles off the ground. It'll be the grounding.
Go ahead, Angus.
I think it's a try.
Well, we need you to check the touchline for us, please.
I thought he got his feet up because he
on-field try, checking, grounding and touch.
Yeah, it looked like he got his feet off the ground way before he was bundled to touch. Whether he got the ball down in the try line, over the try line. His feet are off, he's fine there, he's not in touch, he's not in touch, he's not in touch. Oh, that is some try, that. What a try.
Watching it again in slow motion, and it was one-handed. He had a solid grip of the ball with the right hand, leaping into the air. The cover defence couldn't stop him, and it's a 17th international try for Duo Van der Merwe, and Scotland lead 5-3.
A little bit fortuitous as the ball comes out the back. Jamie Ritchie actually spills the ball, but scooped up, shipped on. What a finish by Duhan van der Merwe. No right to finish that at all. 6'5", 115 kgs, but flying down the wing.
It's almost as good as the try against England, isn't it? Just for different reasons, but nobody else would have scored that try. Just because he was 6'5", I think, as his arms and his body and everything were so long. But that's a fantastic finish. They've got that safety net now, knowing that if they're in the air, they can't really be in touch, because it used to be if you hit the flag, you were in touch. Nowadays, if you hit the flag, it's just play on.
Just as Blair Kinghorn lines up this conversion attempt, I can tell you a goal in the Motherwell Rangers game. Kevin Van Veen in 3 minutes has given Motherwell the lead. Motherwell 1, Rangers 0. Kinghorn, he had the clean strike of the ball there, but just drifts across and towards that left hand post and wide of the upright. So here it's Scotland 5, Italy 3, and Van Veen's goal is Motherwell in front by a goal to 0 against Rangers.
Yeah, and that was, there was a couple of mistakes in that try, but the good thing was the ball retention, the sort of variety of the attack. They try to get Tuipulotu on the ball a couple of times. Their forwards are carrying. Schumann's already carried about 5 or 6 times. Ferguson's carrying, Dempsey's carrying, and that's really important for Scotland to have success. These guys have got to carry regularly.
Dempsey's able to gather outside of the 22, and the referee penalising, taking the ball into contact, not releasing. 5-3 the scoreline, 14 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, it's Jack Dempsey that's been penalised. The quality of the carry is just very good, actually so good that he's isolated himself from his supporting pack. They're too slow to get there and clear that breakdown. Italian straight on it, wonderful jackal. George Turner half a second late, that's all they need. 5-3 up, another penalty given away in the contact area. Italy the chance to get straight back into it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Generally, could you have a look at them not rolling and then the hands past the ball?
Yeah, look, mate, I've been absolutely okay.
That's fine, I'm just asking for to have a look at.
Yeah. No, we've had one from each way about having the tackler in the runway, so I haven't been able to reward your jackler, but that one was fine. But I'll keep an eye on it for you. Okay, what are we doing? Shot. Time back on.
Gina Ritchie in conversation with the referee Angus Gardner as Italy have had time to deliberate, and they're going once again for the posts.
It's quite interesting the variation of how referees take to the pitch and speak to the players. You know, you've got all the sort of Northern Hemisphere referees now seem to be first name terms with all the players, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think that's quite a good thing, really. I think it shows a kind of bit of respect. But I did notice Gardner, he was talking to Sam Skinner, he was like, hey, number 4, come here. Don't do that again. So I don't know if it's just he just calls everyone with their number, or maybe just doesn't know what Sam Skinner looks like. That's the difficulty you have. You don't know someone's name, you can't call them by it. But I quite like that first name terms with referees and players. I like that.
Allen comes forward, strike of the ball, clean, straight and true, and another 3 points for Tommaso Allen. 68 international penalties now to his name, and for this particular fixture it means with 15 and a half minutes on the clock, Italy back in front. Scotland 5, Italy 6.
I think over the years it's been a wee Achilles heel of Scotland, isn't it? That breakdown right at the tackle area, getting that first support guy in. We just do sometimes like that guy there who just sometimes half a second, as Johnny says, half a second is enough for these good jacklers to get in and get their hands on ball.
Live Six Nations Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, live from Murrayfield, the opening fixture in the final Saturday of the 2023 Six Nations. Italy carrying there through Sebastian Negri outside his 22, blindside flanger. Italy wrapped in the tackle just now as Sam Skinner wrestling Italian players to the ground, but they have it back inside their own 22. Pinged forward, Blair Kinghorn underneath the high ball is able to gather, and Scotland then release Ollie Smith. Smith up towards the halfway line is tackled, running into Italian contact here in the form of the outside centre there, Brex, taken on this time with Johnny Gray. Up towards the halfway line, just dropping that right shoulder. White in again behind, just reaching in with the studs of the right boot, lining up the box kick. 16 and a half minutes just passed on the clock. 1 point game, Italy leading. 2 penalties to that Van der Merwe try. That was a tantalising ball gathered on the edge of the Italian 22, and again Fusco goes in to mop things up. Back through the hands of Tommaso Allen. Italy at close quarters trying to work it out towards their left hand side. Now JC offers his services, the debutant on that left hand side. There'll be 22 coming up in May. As Italian handling gets a little bit loose there. Ball spilled back into that 22 they go, in their own 22.
Two back on side now.
And once again, scrum half is able to find a little pod of forwards that are sitting just to his right hand side. Dempsey gets back to his feet. Fusco this time is tackled as he tried to escape the pink jerseyed Scotland players that were looming large close to him. Ritchie now back to his feet. Italy still with possession, still inside their own 22. Picked up this time by Bruno, looking to recycle ball as Scotland have got a bit of a stranglehold on Italy just at the moment as they try and find an exit. And they opt to kick from practically their own try line, gathered by Kinghorn between the 10 and the halfway line. He's got some green plane to run into, but slips just at the point of contact, more or less.
Number 14, I can't reward you. No.
Ben White was on to take a quick one there.
No issues, but all your players were in front of the kicker from the deep pass. So we're going back for the penalty over here in front of the kickers advancing.
So come back for a penalty inside the 22. Ben White was keen to get on with it. But referee was having none of it. So the penalty inside the Italian 22 for the Scots, trailing by a point, 6-5. 18 minutes of the game gone.
And this is the madness that we saw from Italy against Wales. Kieran Crowley is a coach saying, look, we don't look at white lines on the field, we play what we see, we go for it. But again, failing to exit, piling pressure on themselves, and Scotland now a kick to the corner, a real chance to extend their lead. It's got madness, right? It has to be said by Italy. Multi-phase, not going anywhere.
You can, there's almost you should have a rule where we'll try 5 times or 6 times, and then, but they were just going to do that all game. I don't think they were thinking about kicking, and I don't know if they are trying to find touch, but they're struggling to find touch as well.
Scotland have done well to win the ball in the line out, and George Turner joins in the drive. Turner now has possession of the ball, and you can see that Dempsey's calling for more players to get involved in the drive. Scotland is peppering the try line at the moment. Trailing by a point, 6-5 the Italians lead. Scotland pink jerseys swarming around the royal blue of Italy. And now Jimmy Ritchie involved as the skipper of the side. Last few metres between Scotland and what would be a second try. Pick and go from Fagerson. He's forced backwards but tries to go again. The tight head prop out towards White this time, and now they've got some space, but Van der Merwe was in acres of space on that left hand side. They might be able to find him this time. Kinghorn tries to go to the corner himself, and Kinghorn's bundled into touch, so close towards the line. They'll look to take a quick one. Schumann is able to pick and gather, spins round in those final 2 metres. The referee again just calming things down. 20 minutes on the clock. Scotland 5, Italy 6. Frantic few moments inside that Italian 22.
Yeah, I think what he's going to give him a hard time for taking the quick throw, and it was probably inside the 5 metres. You've got to come past back to the 5 metre line to put it in. But Ollie Smith, that's a try. Just push through your hands, and Van der Merwe scores in the corner. Now you want your back three to be attack minded and selfish sometimes, but for me that's a butchered try, and that's it's no easy 5 points, but that's 5 points wasted.
Turner again has possession of the ball after a secure Scotland line. 15 metres in from touch, again close towards that 5 metre line, deep inside the Italian 22. Scotland playing to the post to the left hand side. White bypasses Kinghorn, finds Van der Merwe. Again 3 Italian players around the Scotland winger and try scorer this afternoon. White eager to get on with things, squats down, he's able to gather the ball, finds Schumann immediately with the pop pass to forwards alongside him. White picks up once again, Tuipulotu just above head height, gathers, again straightens up and runs into contact, forcing Italy back close towards their own 5 metre line. Scotland again looking to recycle ball. Ritchie over the ball just now, he's able to pick and pop a pass out towards the right hand side. Scotland again 5 metres from this Italian line. Quick phase of passes here. Watson over the ball. Scotland again looking closer or getting closer and closer towards the line. White took a step back and then had a go at trying to snipe his way across the line himself. Kyle Steyn over the ball at the moment. The referee jockeying for position. Watson gets up and takes a step back. Steyn is able just to recycle ball. Watson now over the ball as the referee called advantage. It came back on the Italian side. So another few moments of Scotland incessant pressure deep inside the 22, but no change in the scoreline. 22 minutes now have come and gone. Scotland 5, Italy 6.
Yeah, I thought the tackle with the Italian player was a no harms tackle. I think he might have went into Schumann and he drops the ball, but it looks
There is a no arms tackle.
Looks like a no arms tackle.
In this situation, which caused the player to knock the ball on, okay? So, yeah. Yeah, the TMO's confirmed it, so I just wanted to explain it to you.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was. It was a no arms tackle. Well, we've got the replay here. It's actually head on head.
That was what Schumann was getting up, complaining. And look, he's flown out the line. He's offside. No arms, no wrap, and he's gone head on head.
Yeah.
It's just a penalty. Number 4, no arms.
I think it's more than a penalty.
Just diving with the shoulder down.
TMO's looking at that. It's head on head contact.
Not for us. I understand your point. Not for us. Number 4. Yep.
He's been waved away.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan.
HIA, the guy that led with his head, he's going off for an HIA. So how's that not head on head then?
Yeah, we just do the start.
There's no common sense to that. If he's going off for an HIA, there's obviously head contact.
Edoardo Iachese is the Italian player, the second row forward. He is the 4, and he's now making his way across the 22.
Yeah, look, I think it's been a good contest.
He's been replaced. Niccolo Canoni has come on in his place.
The TMO of the day. Yeah, sure.
Brett Conan.
Have Italy put their replacement on?
I've got it. I look at that reverse angle. It looked as though again there was head on head there, but
Time back on.
referee's made the decision. The guy's went off with a HIA. He's not made head contact with him, but he's tackled with no arms. So penalty given, and Scotland have another chance.
Being 5 metres from the Italian line. The throw-in will be in front of the east stand across on the far side as we watch. Ritchie was up quite early there, and the referee whistling as Scotland again looking to continue the stranglehold. You can see the emotions on Michel Lamaro's face. The Italian skipper side under the cosh right now.
Complete misfire at line out time. You can see Jamie Ritchie clear up in the air. Well, that's a call, miscommunication. The pack's got no idea what's going on. George Turner lobs the ball in, not straight. Bags of pressure for Scotland, but a little bit of an elementary error. Scrum to Italy, and an easy exit for them potentially.
Scotland with slightly heavier pack weight, 905 kilos to Italy's 877.
Stand up. Okay.
So still a scrummage inside that Italian 23.5 minutes of the game gone.
Keep the brake foots out, okay? Yep.
Scotland 5, Italy 6. So, scrummage once again, and these are opportunities now for Italy to try and clear their lines from their own 5 metre line across on that left hand side. Alessandro Fusco takes a step or two back as the scrum literally crumbles there. Fusco just backing away.
Well, we've just had a stat box pop up in front of us. 50% of the game has been played inside Italy's 22, an enormous amount for this stage of the game, but crucially, critically, the scoreboard: Scotland 5, Italy 6. Not quite able to convert that pressure and come away with points.
An equaliser at Fir Park. Tavernier levelling for Rangers. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1. That will be midway through the first half. Kevin Van Bain's goal in the opening stages of the contest, then cancelled out by Tavernier. 1-1 at Fir Park. Meanwhile, here at Murrayfield, Scotland 5, Italy 6, with almost exactly 25 minutes of the first half gone. Scotland then with the tap and go inside that 22 after Italy penalised that set piece, and Ben White now eager to get on with things, finds Tuipulotu dropping that right shoulder, taking the ball into contact. So Italy unable to use that opportunity to escape from the 22, and now under pressure once again as Ben White looks to recycle ball and get the forwards coming in at a rate of knots. Jamie Ritchie over the ball at the moment. Schumann now carrying again. Skinner alongside him. White picks up again. Scotland working and drifting towards that left hand side. Italy reorganising the defence to try and close the door. Skinner towards the left hand side, but they work it through Schumann towards that right hand side, carried on by Fagerson. Xander Fagerson up to the final 5 metres. Scotland then again looking for players to come on rushing onto the ball at some pace to try and splinter that Italian defence, find ways through it. White again just forcing backwards, leaning in, trying to regain possession of the ball. Italy looking for the steal, knocked on though after 9 Scotland phases, and play remains inside those final 5 metres of the Italian 22.
The worrying thing for me there, I don't think Kinghorn offered themselves at once to come into attack. You know, we've got to, forwards are just taking it around corners, which is fine, but at some point Kinghorn or Tuipulotu's got to go to first receiver. Kinghorn comes right like he does with Russell, or Kinghorn's got to get up into that first receiver role, be a threat, bring in a defence, and then look to play through the contact. But no point was involved in that attack. Just kept standing at the back, sort of directing people.
Need something with a point of difference. I think that's in terms of the physicality fronting up. Italy doing a tremendous job defensively, a little half break, made a nice piece of interplay between Schumann and Fagerson. But you're right, who's stepping up next? The second wave, where's it coming? How do we have that knockout punch? Been down here for 26 minutes now effectively in the first half. Something with a little bit of X factor.
Another penalty conceded by the Italians at the scrum. White was just
points here,
releasing the ball into the scrum there. Could well do, Peter. We'll see what they...
Just get yourself in front. You know, get yourself in front, get the scoreboard ticking over. I don't know, you want to win the game, absolutely. You want to win it scoring tries, absolutely, but get in front first.
But it's an awful lot of huff and puff at the minute for not too much coming through on the scoreboard. And critically, these types of situations, when you're in them, for every little marginal gain or win for Italy, it's a massive psychological boost. So you're right, keep the scoreboard ticking over. However, another chance, another bite, but they need to score quickly.
White then, thinking back to those opening 2 games, Scotland's visit to the opposition 22, and the points return was very impressive. Well, they've had a lengthy spell inside the Italian 22. Another penalty awarded. The referee is calling across the Italian skipper.
Not you guys. Yep. Boys, we can't have this for the rest of the day, okay? Collapsing, okay, and not scrummaging properly, okay? On that one, that was against you for pulling back. The last one was you overextended, and then we had an issue there with you guys not controlling your weight, okay? No, just listen to the message. The message is you need to be positive at scrum time. Keep the scrum up, okay? Otherwise, guys will sit down, okay?
Well, that delivered to the full Italian front row, and the earshot of the captain.
Yeah, and that's the last 3 scrums, 3 kick, 2 penalties. But the problem, because scrums are so on a fine line, you could easily go a penalty against Scotland here. I'm assuming if there's a penalty at this one against Italy, there'll be a yellow card as well. But I think Scotland, they've just got to be wary, because Italy are still a decent scrum. It's got to be wary that they just don't blow. Tony says they've been here for nearly more than half of the time the game's been going, and they've only got the 5 points. Got to get some reward.
Keep it up.
Ben White then squats down, feeds the ball into the Scotland scrum, deep inside the Italian 22. Now the referee is whistling, penalising the Italians, going to the pocket, and then brandishes the yellow card, and Italy losing a forward. I think, is it the tight head, Peter? Riccione?
Yeah, Riccione, I think, from Saracens. Yeah, his feet just seemed to slip away from him, and he ended up flat in his face. The referees just spoke to the interesting thing was the referee spoke to all 3 of them, so he's basically given all 3 a warning. And then the very next scrum, Schumann, there's just that much pressure, and then to be fair to him, Riccione, he's trying to, you can see him try to step forward, but his feet have just slipped away under a warning penalty in front of the post. I'm assuming they're going to go for the scrum, and there'll have to be a substitution.
Pedro Ceccarelli is stripped and ready to come on the field, wearing number 18, one of the Italian replacements. Of course, already have Nicola Canoni on the park as well. And Italy now making that change, so Simone Jesi on his debut will be the player relinquished here, as Italy ensure they have a full complement for the scrum.
Italy now down a man. It'll be interesting to see the option
Yeah, the mark's there.
Scotland take, they feel like they've got the nudge on at scrum time. Schumann and Fagerson getting through a pile of work with their carries, but squeezing. Getting their tight head sent off on the other side. 10 minutes in the sin bin now. Scotland a man superior. Will they keep this in a double shove righty? Keep it at 8's feet, try and squeeze them, tighten things up and then go wide?
Nah, I would try and go pretty quick down the left hand side. You've got that overlap, just try and pick off defenders and put Duhan van der Merwe in the corner. Dead simple.
Now, Canoni then is in that Italian scrum as Ben White feeds the ball in. Now he's found a little bit of space just on the angle, reversing it towards King On, and King On is able to find his way towards the line. White delivering the pass to his fly-half partner, and King On inside those final 5 metres was able to reach towards the line, ground the ball and give Scotland the lead once more. Scotland 10, Italy 6, and that try coming practically on the half hour, 29 and a half, and it's gone.
Yellow card making all the difference. Italy opting to keep 8 men in their scrum. That means in their back line. Soft shoulders. White takes the ball to the line, drops off to Kinghorn, bounces off his left foot, finds a soft shoulder, and over he goes. The yellow card absolutely telling. It looked a little bit like a bit of miscommunication as well with the starter play between Tuipulotu and Kinghorn. But a bit of class, bangs off his left foot and over he goes. Scotland get the reward.
Yeah, and Tuipulotu runs a good line, because I think what Tuipulotu does is he engages the centre, but I think Garbisi as well thinks that Kinghorn's just maybe going to put that tip onto him, and he just starts to kind of drift over, and then obviously Kinghorn then steps off his left foot, so he kind of hits Garbisi's arm rather as a big hard shoulder. So it was a good bit of play, and I think Tuipulotu, even though he didn't touch the ball, was a massive part of that because of the support line that he ran.
Kinghorn over for his 11th international try, looking to convert, and does so with no difficulties whatsoever. 30 minutes gone then. Scotland 12, Italy 6.
Yeah, and it's no more than Scotland deserved. They've been in that 22 for a long time, and it's took them a long time. Italy have defended it pretty well. I think it's been a little bit of good defence from Italy and a little bit of maybe poor decision making and attack from Scotland, but they've got to try and just got to try and exploit this next sort of 8 minutes of the yellow card as well.
Italy looking to get this match then restarted as they're playing towards the south stand in what remains of the first half into the final 10 minutes then of the opening half. Dempsey's able to win that restart kick and once again carry outside the 22. White in behind, on then towards Ritchie. Ritchie with the pass to Kinghorn. Sharp play from the Scots as they work it out towards the right hand side, and Kyle Steyn up towards that 10 metre line, just beyond the 10 metres. White in very quickly, finds Skinner on towards Kinghorn. Xander Fagerson close towards the 10 once more. White eager to get on with things. Kinghorn once again, Tuipulotu. Three to his left hand side, one of them is Hugh Jones. Jones with determination up towards the halfway line. Tackle made there by Sebastian Negri, who's back to his feet there, so to the scrum half Fusco. And Scotland again getting close towards halfway. Italy
This penalty
looking to try this opportunity to steal, but fine play then from Dempsey. Needs the offload now. Did well with his feet there to carry beyond the halfway line, with Italians at close quarters. Van der Merwe again trying to work his mazy style of running into some real pace there, but Scotland knocking forward just as they were going beyond that Italian 10 metre line. Scotland 12, Italy 6, and we've now got 7.5 minutes of the first half left to play.
Yeah, it was a good attack for Scotland. They kind of went wide, and then it started to kind of go round corners, but the Italian player counter rucks and goes straight to deck.
Yeah, just an impact.
For me, that's a penalty off his feet, but Ben White managed to get it away. Dempsey then showed a nice footwork, a bit of footwork to offload, and then Van der Merwe, to be fair to him today, he's been on the ball and he's looking dangerous, and he's a hard guy. He's a very difficult guy to stop. But yeah, and then just another wee error that gives Italy just that put into the scrum and a little bit of respite from Scotland's attack.
I'll speak to them about keeping the head straight. I don't want to see a shift, okay? Head straight. Both packs.
So Italy are welcome back onto the park. Edoardo Iachese after going off for an assessment just over 10 minutes ago now. Italy then with the scrummage inside their own half, 15 metres in from touch in between the channels. Fusco into the scrum, referee penalising the Scots though at the set piece, and Italy will have this opportunity to play the ball back into Scotland half.
That's the referee hasn't got a clue about scrummaging. All that's happened, if you watch what happens there, is the scrum is totally steady. As soon as the ball comes in, you can see Scotland's scrum going forward, you can see them going for it, and then if you watch the prop, he just dips his shoulders slightly because he's under real pressure, dips his shoulders slightly, and that puts Fagerson down on the ground. Typical. He was obviously a back, Angus Gardner, no idea about scrumming. You see the replay here, got the pressure, and he just dips and takes Fagerson right to the ground. Scrums and referees.
Meanwhile, Garbice's free kick takes Italy down inside the Scotland 22. Had a few moments of the early stages of the half inside the 22. The throw in is eventually gathered on the Italian side and taken on by Minicello, the inside centre, into the 22 and into contact. Recycled again. Scotland on the defensive, protecting a 12-6 lead. Just over 5 minutes of the first half left to play. And Italy making some headway inside the Scotland 22 at the moment as they recycle. And Fusco again looking to try and direct operations. Got plenty of options towards the right hand side. One of them is Brex. Minicello also in a good position as it's carried this time by Negri. He goes to deck. Again Italy look to reorganise and regroup. Fusco glance to the right, but will play it towards that left hand side. And Italy once more, 7 phases of play, looking to bring the forwards in again, just on the fringes of that 22, but making some ground again. Back to the edge of the 22 they go. Iachese looking to carry. It's coming off the bench, coming off from the sidelines from that assessment, I should say. Taken on by Garbice from his scrum half. Fusco again will go in, receive possession of the ball. Little pop pass out. Brex plays it out further towards that left hand side. Fusco again making some ground up towards that 5 metre line. Suddenly the Italians sense an opportunity here. 13 phases. Scotland. Fusco once more. Recycled ball. Slight misunderstanding there from the Italian attack.
Struck your head, but he was in front of you. So it's accidental offside.
Oh, it's offside then. If he's headed the ball forward and he's in front, it's offside. I didn't think there was such a thing as accidental offside anymore. I thought everything, if you're in front of the ball after it's hit your player, it's a penalty. He headed it. But yeah, it's really good defence, but really good ball retention for the Italians as well, and they just look as though they're just that one pass or that one wee step away from getting a score.
Here it is.
Yeah, ball coming back off Federico Ruza's head there. Scotland 12, Italy 6. 2 minutes left on the Italian yellow card. Just over 3 minutes of the first half left to play. Lone Piper can be heard in the background. Set piece inside the Scotland 22. 12-6 Kinghorn and Van der Merwe with the Scotland tries.
They'll stay there. Keep working, getting the height up, hit up.
It just takes forever to get the scrum going.
The reset.
Just get on with it.
It's a good minute and a half, you think, for the spectators, everyone wanting the spectacle to burst into life. 30 seconds, get there.
Set.
Ben White, ball released from his hands, works his way around on his own 5 metre line, finds Kinghorn, takes a few steps, right footed kick downfield. 2 Italian players now back inside their own 22. Tommaso Allen wasn't quite sure, but certain was able to scamper back and gather the ball and pins a high up and under there. Italy looking to give chase. It bounces and ends up in the hands of Piers Scooban. Scooban doing well, finding Johnny Gray with the hands. Gray up towards the halfway line. Recycled ball by White on towards Kinghorn. Again Scotland now looking menacing as Ollie Smith comes onto the ball and carries that 10 metre line. 5 metres in from touch on the left hand side. Van der Merwe again loitering with intent. almost from a standing start, is bundled backwards. White has it on towards the captain Ritchie, onto Kinghorn. Gray comes onto the ball on that 10-metre line. White in behind again, reaching down, he's able to find Kinghorn with a pass to Pelotu, carries forward. Hugh Jones, Hamish Watson, Watson, now Jones on that right hand side. Watson initially recycled, quick ball, bounces awkwardly there as Turner had to work his way around, but it's picked up eventually by Jamie Ritchie. A little bit loose and untidy as for the last moment or so from the Scots, as Schumann carries again from that 10-metre line inside the Italian half of the field, with Scotland leading by 12 points to 6. To Pelotu, wrestling an Italian player away from his ankles as it's picked up by White. Kyle Stein coming off his wing, straightens up, runs into Cannone there, the Italian number 8. Scotland still have it, trying to close down closer towards that 22. Taken on this time by Sam Skinner. Skinner just bundling Italians out the way there, as that was no quarter after given. Ollie Smith wrapped round the ankles and floored on the edge of the 22. Scotland again recycling. Van der Merwe this time over the ball. Little pass towards White. Kinghorn has it. Kinghorn, the pass goes loose. Scotland forced to play a little bit of football there as the referee had signalled the knock on. That coming just outside the Italian 22, eating up more valuable seconds. 12-6 to the Scots, 30 seconds left of the first half.
Yeah, it was a bit kind of laboured there a little bit with Scotland. A couple of times it looked like they got themselves through. Actually thought Jamie Ritchie came off of Jamie Ritchie's feet rather as a knock on, but then he then dived on it and passed it from when he was lying on the ground, which you're going to get back to your feet and play the ball. But again, just lacking a real threat at first receiver. You know, when Russell's there, he holds defenders, but for me, we're not getting that free kicks. He's not the same type of player as Russell. It's unfair to judge that, but we're not getting that threat at 10.
And the structure is there, the template of how they want to play is the exact same, but they're just the lack of quality. The final pass, a screen ball across the face of defence, but ultimately no Scottish hand, goes to deck, the penalty. Scotland again, lots of hop, huff and puff, the willingness to hold on to the ball, but a soft turnover to concede, now defending on your own 40.
Italian throw-in at the line. Referee happy with that. That seemed to be a little bit squint as Italy now working it quickly through the hands, and once again bringing on Cannone up towards that 10-metre line. Recycled ball and picked up again. The determination of the skipper Lamaro. Scotland then having to defend in between the 10 and 22 inside their own half of the field. Final fling for the Italians in the first half as Sebastian Negri dropping that right shoulder, trying to barge the Scots and pink out the way. Italy in the familiar blue jerseys, shorts and socks, and again Garbisi, little 1-2 out towards the left hand side. As you see across on the left, has barely seen any ball in the first half. He was the player sacrificed for the yellow card. Italy back to a full complement of players. That's the final few seconds, final action of the first 40 minutes, and it's Italy in possession of the ball. Scotland leading by 12 points to 6. Recycled again by Fusco and finding the Katera, the hooker, as Italy trying to make some ground across on that left hand side. Again they go in and try and retrieve possession of the ball just outside of the Scotland 22, picked up there by Ignacio Brex. And Ignacio Brex outside centre for the Italians this afternoon. Again they're carrying up towards the 22. Pink line of jerseys spread along the Scotland 22 at the moment, as Italy looking to try and find any chinks, any breaks in the Scotland defence. Scotland then drawing in the penalty, and this will be an opportunity for them to close out the first half.
Yeah, great defence, isn't it? It was just good defence. Italy trying to mix up their attack with a little bit of width, nice and tight, a lot of forwards carrying, but just had their discipline. Scotland just held their discipline, and just when you want something to go right, Johnny, you get one of your front row to sort it out, don't you?
Exactly. He's one of the best. Again, one of the best in the business. The big tight head gets, for such a big boy, such a decent position when he gets into a jackal. And to be fair, him and Schumann in the first period have been two of the best Scottish players. Solid up front, got through a pile of work with their carries, asking questions of the defence, shifting the point of contact as well with soft hands. Very good.
Ben White On towards Kinghorn after a secure line out to Pelotu. Van der Merwe appearing on the right hand side. They're queuing up across on the far side. Kyle Steyn inside the 22. Steyn with a wonderful offload, but it just couldn't finish off what would have been a marvellous score. And Italy now have managed to get bodies round the ball. And it's on towards their skipper, Romaro, and then just knocked into touch in the front of the east stand, and those in the west stand get to their feet and applaud a fine Scotland move. There was no end product, but Scotland spreading the ball from left to right across on that right hand side. Simone JC on his debut just got in the way of the move and was able to snaffle possession back for the Italians, who played it out into touch to close out the first half. It's been quite a stodgy opening 40 minutes, with Scotland leading by 12 points to 6. Tommaso Allen with 2 penalty goals, one in the 7th minute and a second in the 15th, completing the Italian scoring in the opening 40 minutes. But 2 Scotland tries. Van der Merwe with a wonderful score, feet well in the air, but a solid grounding, strong right hand grounding the ball under some pressure in the tackle. Van der Merwe then scoring his 17th international try. Blair Kinghorn adding a Scotland second, his 11th international score, to give Scotland the lead once more. He converted his own try to give Scotland a 6-point advantage at half-time. It's Scotland 12, Italy 6.
Scotland in the Six Nations.
This is quite incredible!
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Just listen to the roar from the Scotland supporters inside Hampden.
Can Steve Clarke's men do it again?
Lift off!
And reach the biggest stage in continental football?
The players, you could see just what this moment means to them.
I just want to be involved in a team that's playing in major tournaments.
We don't want to rely on the playoffs. We want to qualify from the group first or second, and that's what we'll try and do.
Scotland in the Euro 2024 qualifiers.
The Scots will host Cyprus in the opening qualifier, followed just a few days later by a visit from the Spanish.
Kicking off on Saturday with Off the Ball from noon and Sports Sound from 1.
What a goal!
On BBC Radio Scotland.
Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and Radio 5 Live Sports Extra with me, Andy Burke. Scotland versus Italy in round 5 of the Six Nations, and at half time here at Murrayfield, it's Scotland with their noses in front, leading by 12 points to 6. Stuart McFarlane, Peter Wright and Johnny Beattie have been describing the first half action. Tom English is with us also, and Tom, Scotland are in a game, aren't they?
Are they? It's not much of a game. Italy are defending pretty well. That said, they've missed 23 tackles, but they've been under a ferocious amount of pressure. The dam hasn't burst yet. The Scotland are kind of controlling the game a million times, and the boys touched on it just before. A million times during that half, I'm thinking, if only Finn was out there, because there's so much ball and there's so much attacking possibilities. And Kinghorn is, you can't compare him to Finn, it'd be very unfair, but he's not that type of 10. The one thing you can say about Italy is that they're in the game theoretically, but they're just, when they go on the attack, and it's been rare enough, the ball's on the ground, there's one colossal error that checks their momentum. Scotland haven't put them away yet. I suspect they will. I'm a lot more relaxed now than I was at the start of the match, because Scotland are owning the ball, and you have to assume at some stage they're going to get a bit of accuracy in their game, which they haven't had really up to now.
Still only 6 points in it though. You want that next score, you want that daylight between the teams, because otherwise this could get nervous around here.
No, you do it, but when they're owning, I'm going to what are the possession and territory stats? I mean, they must be overwhelmingly in Scotland's favour. Scotland have needed to go up against 14 to get one of their tries, so that's a kind of concern. It's not a good Scotland performance. Load of Scotland possession, load of Scotland territory, a poor Scotland start with giving away 3 penalties in the first 5 minutes, but it's kind of one-way traffic. It's not reflected on the scoreboard yet, but Italy have had to do so much defending you would imagine that there's going to be a price to pay for that later on.
The hallmark of Scotland's opening 2 victories, Tom, against England and Wales was their clinical edge, and it was this kind of incredible strike rate they had when they got in the danger zone. They took their chances. That kind of seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I mean they were banging away. I mean it was
like Scotland of old, banging away at the door and not getting over the line.
It was, and like the people on the other end of the stadium, I mean 90% of the game was played down one end. The people behind the end of Scotland defending, they must be thinking, listen, when is the ball going to come up to us? They were banging away. That's when you need Russell to do something to unlock a defence. A little chip over the top, a cross kick, a pass to pick up the runners. Kinghorn doesn't have that ability. Very few 10s do in the world. So they're having to kind of go a different way, a bit more grunt. Rather than the rape, it's a bludgeon rather than the rapier at the moment. But Italy will have to be tired after the end of that.
Yeah, and there's a few things here, Johnny. Firstly, as Tom says, Italy have defended well. They've missed some tackles, but their scramble defence has been good. They've filled the field pretty well. And what Tom's saying about Blair Kinghorn is what Finn does so well is attracts players to him, and maybe the Italian defence aren't quite as fixated on Blair Kinghorn. I feel like Sione Tuipulotu's not get quite the same amount of time on the ball as he normally does.
No, look, I think it'll be really interesting to see in the second period as well at what stage Cam Redpath and Ben Healy are introduced, because that's what you're looking for as a first grade elite level 10. I know Blair plays there for Edinburgh, but it's not his natural position. So would that be a little point of difference if we introduce one of those boys off the bench in the second period? Probably yes. So I think Gregor, with ultimately probably 70% of the possession and all of the territory, I mean it was 30 minutes and something like 60% of the game had been in the Italian 22, would hope to be a bigger gap on the scoreboard. Now it isn't there. They have to keep plugging away, but it just shows as well at this level how difficult it is to break down organised, stuffy defences that are big or physical. Scotland aren't steamrolling Italy by any account at all. They're in the game, they're grinding. They've provided a couple of opportunities. The tries have come, one from a bounce pass, the second one from a yellow card. So the opportunity was there to pick off the third just before half time, a 2-on-1. It goes a begging, another day, another score to the good, and those boys get introduced a little bit earlier in the second period, but it hasn't been easy. And Italy, we talked about them before the game, the same old. It's a repeat of what they did against Wales, playing from deep, really poorly exiting or choosing not to exit and coughing the ball up to Scotland. Scotland really now should have capitalised and crunched 2 or 3 scores out in that first half, but we haven't done it.
Peter, how are you feeling? Any nervousness at all, or do you feel the next score might break Italy open?
Yeah, I think if Scotland get the next score, then I think, yeah, you're probably right. Scotland should then go into a comfortable victory, but the flip side, if Italy get the next score, how does Scotland react, having had all that possession, territory, opportunity, and to only have 12 points on the board is disappointing. I think individually there's a lot of disappointing performances. I think Johnny said it in commentary, the 2 props have been outstanding. Johnny Gray's carried well, Jack Dempsey's carried well. Sam Skinner's not a starter for me. Sam Skinner's a bench player at best, coming off the bench. You've got Scotty Cummins in that. I know Scotty Cummins don't play a lot of rugby. I'd have Scotty Cummins on as quick as possible because he'll carry really well. Backs Tuipulotu, something to do a lot of work. Kinghorn's not fixing defenders. He's not there even fixed defenders. He's sitting. If you watch him, he stands behind the forwards a lot and directs. Because if you watch, and again, we shouldn't compare Russell to Kinghorn, but the reason we're comparing is because they're trying to play the same way, and we're not having that same threat. And what worries me the most is Kinghorn actually is a threat. If he would actually get his hands on the ball, he would attract people. He's got that ability to get through players, get his shoulders through the line, and get his hands free and get the offload. But he's no. The one time he did it, he scored.
He's not really threatening the line.
Exactly,
is he?
He's not threatened, but he can threaten the line.
Oh, he can. Yeah, absolutely. He can do it. He's a skillful player, but he's not as involved in this game as I hoped he was going to be. And as a consequence, he's not as big a threat as he can be.
And as a consequence too, Pilotu's carrying a lot more into traffic than he has been previously.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Finn. And you hope at half time they say, look, as a 3/4 line, take the ball a half yard further towards that gain line, alleviate a bit of pressure for the boys outside you. Like simple things, but it goes a massive way at this level. How can you fix a defence and generate that space out wide? That's where Finn is so effective, and that's where there's a little drop off with different players. That's completely normal because he's one of the best in the world, but like little coaching things, what are your little words to your team at half time? That one little piece, encouraging Blair to take it a little bit further to the gain line, will make a big difference to his back line.
And he took his try really well. He's playing out of position. For me, he's out of position. if you move on, no reflection on Ollie Smith at all, but if you move Kinghorn to 15, you bring Healy on, and I think they need just to shake it up a little bit. You know, it's just a bit sloppy, and they need to up the tempo. And I think tiring Italy, I assume that they will tire, because that's a huge workload, there's a huge shift that they put in the first half. I'd like to see George Horne on the bench. He's not, obviously. Ali Price is. George Horne comes onto this game with 20 to go. There'll be mayhem, because there should be a bit of space. But I think that's a bit disappointing that he's not in the 23.
The kind of assumption with Italy over the years has been you soften them up and then you put them away late on, Tom. But the warning was there. Cardiff last year, round 5. Yeah. We kind of assumed Wales were softening them up and they would grind out that victory. Scotland need to take that as a warning that they need to put them away.
They do, and Scotland are showing absolutely no interest in building the scoreboard. You know, right in front of the post, they're kicking to touch. They're having tap penalties, 2 or 3 tap penalties. They're going for tries. I hope that doesn't come back to haunt them. You build the scoreboard slowly, and then you add a try on top of that. You're in clear blue water at that point. But it's still, theoretically, look, it's 12-6. The game is still in the melting pot. If Scotland continue to have this level of dominance, then they win the game. They will just win the game. But I'd just like to see more line breaks. I'd like to see a bit of flair, players getting in behind, just asking different questions that they're asking Italy at the moment. They're asking Italy a lot of the same type of question, and Italy, through their resilience, are kind of come up with a lot of answers.
Well, I can see down pitch side Andy Nicol and a load of his cohorts are taking the acclaim of the Murrayfield crowd, decked out in their Doddy tartan. They were cycling the 88 kilometres to raise money for Doddy's MND charity, and it's great that the spirit of the great man lives on, Tom, with all these efforts in his name.
It's fantastic. There's some group there. There's a man down there on crutches. I mean, if he was cycling, I'd say fair play to him too. It's some effort. They have.
That's the Scottish school team, isn't it? The Scottish schools.
That's right, the team of 88, was
88,
it? Yeah.
And that's the guys. That's the guys. That's all the boys that went on that tour doing that. Well done to these guys, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to see the Doddy tartan. That just carries on and on and on, because the people who are leading this are just extraordinary group of people.
Fantastic. Well, one of the highlights, probably the highlight of the first half, Peter Wright, was that extraordinary finish from Duhan van der Merwe. You picked up on this in commentary. As soon as someone hits the flag in the air, my initial reaction is no try. Because of this change in the rules, it does aid the attacker, doesn't it?
Well, actually, I thought Xander Ferguson's steal right at the end was the best bit of play. I'm a bit biased that way. Yeah, it was just outstanding. You notice now the wingers, they know if they get themselves off the ground, the flag isn't in play anymore. In the olden days, when I played, that the flag was in play, you hit the flag, you were in touch. The guys now know that. Feet off the ground, so they're all diving in, but to have the ability then just to get that ball down from, because he went up, I mean, he jumped about 6 feet in the air, and to get the ball where he did on the ground was a remarkable, and as I said in commentary, it was as good as his solo try against England at Twickenham.
It's interesting that little bit of leeway you get though, because anywhere else in the pitch, if you jump into a tackle like that, you're penalised, but going for the line, that's out the window. Yeah,
there is that argument, isn't it? But the player wasn't anywhere near him when he jumped. But you're absolutely right, if there's a player right in front of you do that, is that deemed as jumping into the tackle? So it's that wee anomaly that our rules of our game have, or laws, sorry, of our game have.
Very similar to the James Lowe finish against France. The only difference is James Lowe's try was never a try.
It was way better than that. Even though it wasn't a try, that was way better than James Lowe.
I think we can all agree it'll be a tainted Grand Slam if they go to claim it, Tom, after that shocking decision. But very briefly, Tom, what do you want to see from Scotland in the second half?
I just want to see a bit, speed up the tempo. As I say, ask different questions, get in behind, stretch Italy, tire them out, and a bit of accuracy, a bit of execution.
Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. Scotland versus Italy. The Scots have the edge at the break here at Murrayfield. They lead by 12 points to 6. The teams are back out. So let's rejoin our commentary team for the second half. Johnny Beattie, Peter Wright and Stuart McFarlane.
Thanks again, Andy. Blair Kinghorn will get this second half underway. Playing a little bit of keepy uppy with the rugby ball alongside their match referee Angus Gardner. Scotland playing then from left to right in the second period in those pink jerseys with the dark blue shorts and pink socks. Italy all in royal blue with the white trims. And the second half just about to get underway. A few spectators returning after getting some half-time refreshments to the seats in various parts of the stadium, and Scotland looking to build on a 12-6 interval lead with the two tries. Kinghorn and Van der Merwe cancelling out two Tommaso Allan penalties. Allan's opening penalty giving Italy at that stage a 3-0 lead, adding a second in 15 minutes. The referee just checking the time with those just down below us in front of the west stand. Still a few seconds left. There's a little bit of a breeze now showing on the flags lined along the top of the east stand, and these sides preparing for their final 40 minutes in the 2023 Six Nations. Of course, two further mouth-watering ties to come during the course of this Super Saturday, but the conclusion of the first instalment will be a second half between Scotland and Italy. There's the blast from the referee. Kinghorn then lines up the kick-off, and what can the respective sides offer up in this second 40 minutes? Well, gathered immediately by Paolo Garbisi, and Italy taking the ball up towards the edge of the 22, recycled by Fusco. And again, Italy looking to drift the ball out towards the right hand side and accelerating there. Pier Bruno, not seen too much of either winger going forward in the match so far, as Italy were working the ball out towards that right hand side up towards the 10, but it's been turned over, and Pierre Schoeman now receiving possession of the ball. The Scotland loose head prop recycled again. Kinghorn chips the ball out towards Watson. Jones then stops and checks, and he's able to straighten up and take the ball in just beyond that 10 metre line, gathered by Fagerson back towards Kinghorn. Tupelo just in the angle, bringing in players just across the left hand side. One of them is captain Jamie Ritchie, who finds George Turner. Turner clearly planting the ball back. Fagerson again on that 10 metre line, 15 in from touch on the left hand side. Kinghorn has it once more, flat pass to Tupelo in the halfway line. Scotland then accelerating onto ball. Smith on towards Kyle Steyn. Steyn wrapped in the tackle, and again JC getting back to his feet, the left winger, the youngster still in his early 20s. Scotland looking to try and pick up Italy though. Had the opportunity for the steal and the turnover, and Italy penalised in their desperate attempt to try and turn over the ball in between that 10 and 22.
I can't let your player play. I know, but then your player came off and it impacted them. I just saw it differently. Yeah, but you're the first offence.
Battle still going on with skipper Lamaro, but again Italy not changing the way they want to play, playing out of their own 22 from the kick-off, coughing up the ball. Scotland win the turnover on that deck. Lamaro got off his feet, and Scotland now a big opportunity to start this second half with a bang. Kick to the corner, line out maul, and a launch play to come.
The one advantage of playing the way Italy play this season is that nobody's expecting Italy to win any games, apart from probably the Italians themselves. So they go out there and play that type of rugby. You know, if they win, then great, it's absolutely brilliant. If they lose, it's that kind of, well, at least they went losing trying rather than trying to play sort of physical bash up rugby.
Ben White finding Tupelo, recycle ball after a solid Scotland line. Tight head finds loose head, and Schoeman carrying Scotland in those final 5 metres now with Hamish Watson, and it's now back with Ben White. Scotland drifting out towards the left hand side. White has it again, looks to try and straighten up opportunities. Perhaps they're opening up in that Italian defence, but they've been able to throw things up quickly. White takes a step or two back as the Scotland forwards now look to try and carry Federico Russo with the tackle. 5 Scotland phases now. White will go in again, looking to try and spread the ball as Scotland have worked at the other side of the post now, up towards that line. The referee squatting down, having a long hard look. 7 Scotland phases right up on that Italian try line. Scotland 12, Italy 6. 3.5 minutes of the second half gone. Scotland again through Ben. Well, it's not going to be Ben White involved at the moment, as the forwards still trying to find a way to burrow their way across that line after tries from Van der Merwe and Kinghorn in the first half. Scotland camped on the line. White now on towards Kinghorn. Kinghorn straightens up, and Kinghorn goes to ground, grounding the ball. Strength shown there by the Scotland fly half, his second score of the game. And there is clear blue water and some daylight between the sides as Scotland now lead by 17 points to 6. And Kinghorn no doubt will try and convert his own score.
That's the break we were asking for. We asked, and he delivered as well. Player Kinghorn stepping up, a 3-on-3 on the short side, takes the ball to the gain line between two defenders, busts through them both, and over he goes. Big physical athlete for a standoff.
What's been really noticeable in this first 4.5 minutes of the second half is how often he's had his hands on the ball. When we were attacking in that midfield, a lot of it was going through Kinghorn. So whether they've had a word at half time to say, look, you've got to get more involved in the game, once he starts doing that, he starts to hold defenders, and that might give space outside, and you're not stopping Kinghorn from 3 metres out, are you?
But I have to come back and question the decision making by Italy to run out their 22 again, cough up the ball. I mean, they're just making it impossible for themselves. Scotland sit back, wait for that turnover, capitalise again. They get field possession in the right area of the field, the territory, it's all there, it's free. And Kinghorn walks it in.
Kinghorn 3-4 strides back with the ball on the tee in between the 5 and 15 channel, just outside of the 22. Looks rolling hard up at the posts and then down at the ball. Tiptoed steps and then 3 strides forward. Clean strike of the ball, assistants raising the flags. 19-6 the score to the Scots.
And the fact that he's now scored 2 tries would probably make him man of the match. Honestly, that's what will happen. He'll end up getting. If you look at Fagerson and Schumann, they have been, even in that phase of play, they're working well together. They're carrying, they're tipping on each other. They're just their game so far has been absolutely outstanding. The pair of them, probably the best I've seen the pair of them play, and they'll end up giving it to. Or if Van der Merwe gets another try, he'll obviously be man of the match. It'll be him or Kinghorn. Well, I'm bitter or cynical about it.
Okay, time back on.
Italy then making a couple of changes as we watch. Garbisi launch the restart kick down into Scotland 22 territory. Scotland 19, Italy 6. 6 minutes of the second half gone. Ben White lining up the box kick. So Nicola Canoni is once again on for Iachese. There's a change that was made due to an HIA in the first half. It's been made once again in the second. Italy working through the hands on their own 10-metre line. Quite a quiet Murrayfield as spectators have enjoyed that moment involving Blair Kinghorn. He's converted both his own tries as Italy then trying to gain some ground here through Lorenzo Canoni up towards the halfway line. Oh, a little gap opens up here for the scrum half, and Fusco's pass out to JC. Well, he's a quick player, Simon JC, his every debutant winger, but he was never going to get onto that pass from his scrum half there. And whether Alessandro Fusco just panicked there when he opened up some room and space to scamper in himself and deliver the pass out towards the winger, that was a 1-2 that was never coming off.
The damage is done by the speed of the ball. It's Canoni that takes the ball into contact. The little offload just releases the scrum half. The pace then, the mismatch outside. Schumann. Scotland ping for another squint throw.
Yeah, and does Kyle Steyn do enough to put the scrum half off with that pass? He's running
in his line of sight.
Same
absolutely.
line. Yeah, I'm just wondering if he tried to put it far enough away so that Steyn couldn't intercept it and makes the error. But again, it's a no, I'm not saying it's a simple 2-on-1, but at this level, that's a 2-on-1. That should be finished. Well, you should get that to the winger and you give him a chance to finish it off.
Remain Scotland 19, Italy 6. Italy now with the throw in just outside the Scotland 22. The ball bounces. Ben White was under some pressure there as Italy now have got possession inside the Scotland 22. They look to reorganise and regroup. Alessandro Fusco wants it towards the left hand side. Another pass going astray just behind Federica Ruza. The lock was sitting in a position on that left hand side where he could have carried into a couple of Scottish covering defenders, but the pass behind the lock forward, and the ball going out. George Turner will come across, readying himself for the throw in.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
Ben White looks like he's done himself a mischief as well. Big knock. Ball's tapped back to him from that line out. Covering Italian defence. Two-man tackle. James Robson giving him a check over on the short side.
You pat in the back, you're okay, get on with it, matey. But yeah, it was a good steal on the line out. Italy took the line out instead of the scrum, and then Scotland stole it, but then that little tap back put Ben White under pressure and he got absolutely melted.
Rangers have taken the lead at Fir Park a minute into the second half. Sakala with the goal after Kevin Van Veen had opened the scoring and James Tavernier equalising midway through that first half. So Rangers in front by 2-1 here at Scotland 19, Italy 6. Italy back in possession of the ball. Tommaso Allan, full-back, wrapped in the tackle inside his own half, close towards the halfway line. Fusco again picking up it. Italy looking to try and reorganise bodies on the ball. Scotland have done well through Schumann. Turnover. Dempsey finds Tuipulotu, in turn finds Hamish Watson. Watson then colliding with Italians on that right shoulder as it's back again with Xander Fagerson. Kinghorn delaying the pass to Tuipulotu just ever so slightly, and Scotland now trying to spread it down the left hand side up and beyond the 10 metre line. Tuipulotu certainly involved and scrapping away at every opportunity now as he has been able to work Scotland between that 10 and 22. Ben White back towards Tuipulotu, left-footed grubber kick into the 22. Van der Merwe gives chase, ball trundles into touch, coming across and off those electronic advertising boards across on that far side into the 22. Scotland trying to mix it up a little bit using Tuipulotu and his left boot on this occasion. 19-6 the score.
Yeah, and Scotland are up to tempo, but haven't they? They're starting to play. The Italians are starting to flag a little bit in defence, and you know, and I'm not saying this now because they're props, but Schumann does the steal. Fagerson then carries. The two of them are having absolutely outstanding games, and that's then allowing your back row to play a little bit wider, your backs to play a little bit, because they are doing so much hard work in there that allows other guys to do other things.
That's it, the grunt that they get through between the 15-metre channels and the facilitators that they are in terms of they carry, they can tip the ball on, they can pull it out the back. They're very complete in their skill set. And great to watch. Modern props, eh?
Oh, athletes.
Couple of changes made by Scotland. Ewan Ashman is on, Matt Fagerson also on. Alessandro Garbisi came on a few moments ago for the Italians. So changes in the front row and the back row then for the Scots. Long throw in as Italy from their own 5 metre line as the high tackle is made. Scotland player on the deck.
Dempsey or Fagerson?
I think Dempsey, he's the last to his feet certainly.
Matt Fagerson's first, yeah, that's poor from, if it's Dempsey that done, I think it was, but that's poor end. They've got them under real pressure. You know what the Italians are going to do. They're going to try and run it out their 22. Don't give away soft penalties, soft possession. Real discipline's needed in that area.
I think the wrap tackle was initially made by Fagerson. Dempsey coming on as the second Scottish cover defender, as it's now with Italy, and once again an Italian line out close towards the halfway line in front of that east stand, once again looking to try and find Federica Ruza, and Italy working it up through the hands this time of the skipper Lamano, who's recycling ball, and Italy looking to try and spread the ball out towards the right hand side. Italy with the advantage. Scotland offside decision given against them, leading by 19 points to 6. 11 minutes of the second half gone, and the referee playing a short period of advantage for that offside. It was Ewan Ashman, his first involvement since coming off the bench, staying offside. The penalty then awarded to Italy practically plumb on halfway, and a chance now for Paolo Garbisi to ping this one down into Scotland territory, as Scotland still 19-6 in front.
It's not great, is it? Ewan Ashman's just on the pitch, and it's a soft penalty giveaway right in the middle of the park, no threat, and you're offside. You're lazy getting back, you're giving them an easy possession, you get them a chance to play advantage so they can attack with width, and then they get a penalty into the corner if the man comes for that.
Just shows how quickly the game can change as well. Defending an exit on the 5 metre line, 2 penalties defending a line out in your 22.
Nicotera with a good throw in for the Italians, and once again Ruza doing well to win the ball in the line. Italy got a bit of momentum on in the drive as well, and they're looking now to Alessandro Garbisi to recycle ball. Italy have got some movement across on their left hand side. Tommaso Allen was drifting out towards the left alongside Simone GC.
Number 20 in the side.
The referee penalising the Scots. And again, Fagerson, I think, has been involved.
Number 20 in the side.
Yep, Matt Fagerson penalised this time. Penalty awarded against Italy inside that Scotland 22.
Yeah, I know, but
the second one for Matty Fagerson in the space of a minute, but it was almost a sacrificial. That was building up some momentum, that maul that was heading into in-goal area. Rather sacrifice, give away the yellow, or concede a 3, but they'll have to take on another defensive maul.
Number 4, the ball.
Patches of clear blue sky beginning to appear just above us at Murrayfield as Italy again go towards the line. Well, it came off the fingertips there of Ruza, running along that 5 metre line, and Scotland looking for the opportunity now to exit from inside their own 22, as much of the pitch now a bit more spring sunshine, as the sun is certainly trying to work its way through the thick cloud overhead. Box kick downfield, Italy no immediate gather, able to play on, says the referee. A little crossfield kick, and the inside centre takes the ball on well. Minicello was a little unsure about continuing the run down the tram lines down that left hand side, and the ball just ricocheting away from the inside centre as he knocked the ball on. And Italy's opportunity there, having played a little crossfield chip kick, comes to nothing.
The problem now for Italy, or slight problem, they've went, when they get the option of scrum or line out, they're taking line outs. They're now losing some of their line out ball, so then all of a sudden now they're trying to play fast, which is fair enough. They're chasing the game now, which is quite right, but they're now at that situation. Well, do we take a scrum, do we take a line out? They've kind of got into their heads a little bit, but it's important Scotland now, just once you start bringing the subs on, you just got to try and settle the game down again, get back into your systems of attack, individuals doing their wee special bits of things they need to do.
Scotland then readying themselves at this scrum. 5 metres in from the touch line, in between that 10 and 22, on the Scotland right hand side.
Down far side, Matt.
It was a bit of a mess. Fagerson might have just got away with one there because he looked like he tried to really whack in and slot down, but I think Fischetti as well, I think he's just taking a wee half step back. He's no taking the hit like he should.
Okay, we're not going to continue that pattern in the second
half. Another score at Fir Park. Mugabe has equalised for Motherwell, so 2-2 now the scoreline between Motherwell and Rangers. Rangers taking the lead in the early stages of the second half.
Understand, boys?
Still over half an hour of the game to play. Motherwell 2, Rangers 2 at Fir Park. Here at Scotland 19, Italy 6. 15 minutes of the second half gone. Scrummage inside the Scotland half. Scotland with the put in on their right hand side between the 10 and 22. Ben White bouncing up and down on the toes, spinning the ball in his hands, and then will look to disappear just behind those in the front row as we view the scrum half feeding the ball into the scrum, then works his way around beside Dempsey driving in towards the turf. The penalty awarded to Scotland from that scrum, and a chance for them to ping this one back into Italian territory. No change in the score, still 19-6 to the Scots.
Yeah, fair. I think that's a fair penalty. Scotland got the nudge. Fagerson was getting the better of Fischetti, and he's just kind of buckled in under the pressure. It was an easy-ish decision by the referee. Scrummaged well today, Scotland. Actually, they've been pretty good in the scrums against that. What's a really good Italian scrummaging team.
Substitutions.
5th goal at Fir Park. It's now Motherwell 2, Rangers 3. Cantwell applying for Rangers, so now in front by 3 goals to 2. Meanwhile, Italy making 2 changes in the front row. Petro Ceccarelli back on after his appearance following the yellow card in the first half. And Federico Zani is also on Italy then, looking to try and work the ball from left to right. Up and over halfway they go, but solid tackle coming in. As Scotland again, Italy trying to use the midfield to good effect there. Playing with a bit of pace and tempo as identified by the guys. And Garbisi looking to be very quickly onto ball. Scampering in, replacement Alessandro Garbisi again. Squatting down, he's able to offload. The skipper Michel Lamaro making himself available at every opportunity. So too is Juan Brex out towards that right hand side beyond the 10 metre line. BC again, Italy trying to build with some purpose here, trailing by 19 points to 6. 17 minutes of the second half gone. Alessandro Garbisi goes in once again looking for options. He had 4 to his left hand side. Dempsey with the tackle. Garbisi the replacement scrum half again. He's got an option to the left hand side. Giuliani occupying that portion on the left hand side just at the moment, but not used as Italy work it towards the right hand side, just over the 10 metre line. Then they string the ball across the middle portion of the park, and the forwards continue up and just beyond the 10, with Garbisi in behind once more. This time it's Paolo Garbisi with a left footed kick, gathered by Kyle Steyn on this right hand side. Steyn coming off his wing, 17 metres in from touch outside the 22, goes to deck, plants it back, picked up by White. Now Schoeman carries, dropping that right shoulder, still outside of the 22. Xander Fagerson over the ball, protecting it for White. And no charge from Italy as they tried to knock on the box kick. It was gathered by Tommaso Allen. Allen then at fullback running on the angle with the offload towards Simon JC. He's bundled into touch there, but was able to offload, and the ball remains in play. Alessandro Garbisi on this left hand side through the hands of Brex once more, trying to bring the replacements into play. So too Paolo Garbisi out towards the right hand side. Italy pinging it forward, right footed, with Pier Bruno across on that far side. Depth to the kickers. Scotland now back to within their own 5 metres of their own try line, and it's pinged forward there by Blair Kinghorn. Not a touch finder. 3-4 Italian players strung across their own 10 metre line, and Italy have it again through Minicello, the inside centre. Up and over the halfway line, across the on-field advertising. Italy trying to work it up towards the 10 metre line, changing direction and working it down towards the left hand side. Another deft kick, or attempted kick there from Paolo Garbisi. Too much on the weight of the kick there after the referee played a short period of advantage for the Italians. It remains Scotland 19, Italy 6, and we've played almost the end of the full third quarter, nearly 60 minutes on the clock, and Scotland making further changes. I can see Strickton ready to come on. Scott Cummings.
Yeah, Cummins coming on. Ali Price, but it should be George Horn for me. Rory Sutherland looks like he's coming on. The one for me, I'd get Healy on now. 20 minutes to go. Give him 20 minutes to try and just, give him a bit of experience. We're going to need him. I think what's shown today, that if we go to the World Cup, they've got 4 warm-up games to be fair, so they'll give guys opportunities then. But we go to the World Cup, we play South Africa and Ireland without Russell. We are going to be struggling.
But you say we've got 4 games. 4 games isn't a lot. That's not a lot of game time at all. So you're absolutely right. 20 minutes left. Chuck him in.
Short stab throw in from Italy. Catera just on the edge of the Scotland 22 on the Italian left hand side, was picked up at the front of the line. Giuliani again looking to try and carry it close quarters, and Italy bringing their replacements in now. Ciccarelli looking to carry inside that 22. Two Scottish players just adjusting their defensive cover. There's an Italian down receiving some treatment, so Italy down a man at the moment as they continue to try and make some headway inside that Scotland's 22. Over the ball at the moment is Alessandro Garbisi, one of the many Italian replacements in this second half. And Italy very deliberately working it out towards Brex. Continued forward, tackle made there, or block at least by Tupelotu. Italy will work it towards this left hand side. Now they have a player down strewn on the deck, and Paolo Garbisi, mindful of that, I think, as he was looking towards that left hand side, he's bundled backwards, and Scotland have won some turnover ball. On with Xander Fagerson, on towards Tuipulotu. Kinghorn, little misunderstanding. Scotland back, but no damage done inside their own 22. Players beginning to slip and slide a little bit on the Murrayfield turf. 61 minutes on the clock. Scotland 19, Italy 6. Van der Merwe with another international score, his 17th, and 2 tries as well this lunchtime for Blair Kinghorn, as Ali Price delivers his first box kicks and is coming off the bench. Not quite a touch finder there, down the Italian right hand side, and Italy again up and over halfway and over that Scotland 10 metre line, and looking to make some headway down towards the 22. Garbisi, one on towards the other, on towards the skipper now, the open side flanker. Again, Lamaro carrying up and towards the edge of the 22. Italy recycling. Paolo Garbisi, the fly half on towards Tommaso Allan, and Allan had just peeled away from the covered defence, found some space on that left hand side, latching on to Garbisi's kick through, and Tommaso Allan extending his points tally in an Italian jersey. Another try for the fullback, and that changes the complexion of the game somewhat. Scotland 19, Italy 11. 62 minutes of the game gone.
It certainly does. It really does change the complexion of the game, but you can see players strewn across the field, absolutely exhausted, but the Italian backline charging on, continuing to attack, and they get their reward, don't they, Righty? I mean, they ploughed away. They're absolutely out on their feet. You can see the boys are absolutely shattered, both sides now, but continuing to play, and this could take it back to 1913. This game is not finished yet.
Yeah, it's a great wee try. It's a beautiful wee kick for Garbisi through for Tommaso Allan, sorry, his Italian name. Gets the try, and as you say, if he kicks his conversion and they're within one score. Scotland, they've took Johnny Gray. I'm assuming Johnny Gray's just done so much work that because he's a way better player than Skinner. So he gets Gray and Cummins a better second row combination. But this is I've seen Healy was out there warming up. He's now back sitting. I got a feeling they're not going to put him on. I think now that the game's got back to this, they might just stick with what they've got on the pitch. It would be a shame. Even Cam Redpath coming on just gives you something a bit different, doesn't it?
Well, it's Scotland 19, Italy 11. That's now 423 international points for Tommaso Allan, and his 14th international try. Blair Kinghorn with the restart. So Italy trying to close the gap. Kyle Steyn rushing onto that restart kick with the wrap tackle. Italy though in possession of the ball. Alessandro Garbisi, and they spread the ball immediately out towards the right hand side, again making the nuisance of himself. Allan at fullback up and over the edge of the 22, back then towards Paolo Garbisi, and his left boot launches it downfield, picked off there by Blair Kinghorn. Kinghorn then finds Ollie Smith. Smith then up towards the edge of the halfway line, mopped up quickly by Ali Price on towards Scott Cummings. Kinghorn, his pass there, Tuipulotu just ricocheting off the fingertips there and backwards, and Tuipulotu was alert enough to slide onto the ball. And the penalty awarded by the referee Angus Gardner on that Scotland 10 metre line, and this will certainly lead to a twitchy few moments, I'd imagine, for the Scottish faithful. Scotland 19, Italy 11, and we're still just over 15 minutes of the contest left to play.
Again, it's just the quality of the final skill, the execution, the space is there to play to, but the quality of the pass is poor. It's behind Tuipulotu, who knocks the ball on. Italy opting to take the 3 points.
Good decision that, isn't it? You get the 3 points, you then put Scotland under pressure, scoreboard pressure, because all of a sudden they're a score, just a score behind.
And if you're Italian, you ask what might have been. That's the first time that Garbisi's taken the exit strategy, kick long, Scotland have run back, they've turned the ball over. A real exit that's worked for Italy with a strategy and 3 points potentially to come at the end. If they played like that from the start of the game, what a different complexion it might have had.
So this time it will be Paolo Garbisi, Pellier, 24th international for him. He's going to...
He's lefted, you think? He's left-footed, yeah. And it's on that right-hand side of the pitch. So it's wondering, because Tommy Allen's been no too bad in his kicking.
So Paolo Garbisi has 125 international points. Arms by his sides at the moment. Here he goes then, 3-4-5 step run up, a flat kick. The assistants though are happy with that, raising their flags, and Italy find another 3 points and reduce their ears once more. Scotland 19, Italy 14, and 17 and a half minutes left.
I think what the day's proven, more from a negative point of view, are the guys that are probably not starters. You know, I don't think Sam Skinner gives you enough. I mean, I know Gilchrist, Richie Gray are both injured. Scott Cummins just coming back, so Sam Skinner's probably about 5th choice anyway. Ewan Ashman has been doesn't give you an impact. Well, has not gave you an impact off the bench yet. You know, when you think what Brown does when he comes off the bench, you know, we're not getting that from Ashman, and we need impact players coming off the bench as well. So these guys, they're not doing they're certainly they're starting. I don't think they're doing their starting opportunities particularly good.
Well, Ben Healy, it looks as if he is going to have some time on the park, because he and Cameron Redpath are stripped and ready, hands on hips, waiting to get on the field of play as they watch. Paolo Garbisi launch one left-footed downfield, and it's gathered again by Ollie Smith, the Scotland fullback, a 3rd international for him. Kicks long, chases the kick. Paolo Garbisi then, another left-footed kicker, launches it downfield, gathered by Kyle Stein. In the sunshine is Blair Kinghorn, works it into a strip of shadow and plays that one into touch just down below us, down below our commentary position. 19-14 at the scoreline, and here come the replacements then. A first cap for Ben Healy and a 5th international appearance for Cameron Redpath.
Yeah, you think it'll be Ollie Smith that'll come off. Tuipulotu, is it, coming off? Surprised at that, I must admit. I thought they'd put Tuipulotu to 13, Redpath to 12, obviously Kinghorn will go back to 15. Yeah, surprised at that, but yeah, that's, you know, it's still a nice attacking back division they've got.
So Italians working it towards the back of the line, quickly shipped on there by Ruza, and out towards the right hand side. Brett across on the far side, Bruno again chipping one forward, the chip and chase coming across there. Kyle Stein under some pressure was able to gather possession of the ball. The tackle forced him to the deck, and now Scotland looking at an exit from inside their own 22. 19-14 the scoreline. Italy looking for the opportunity to intercept. Scotland are away though, and it's Ali Price up and over the halfway line down this left hand side. He was a lone figure down that left hand channel. Italy with the first interception, and then Scotland running onto it through Ali Price. Now they're trying to spread the ball from left to right. On goes Jones. Jones out the back door to Kinghorn. Kinghorn then outside the 22. Excellent tackle there made by Pettinelli. Picked up again by Jones. Scotland trying to use a little bit of strength now as it's picked up by Price this time. On to Cummings in that distinctive blue scrum half. And it's on now, scrum cap I should say, as it's up towards the edge of the 22. And picked up by the Scots. The momentum perhaps dropped just ever so slightly. And Scotland are now inside the Italian 22, chasing a bonus point try, leading by 19 points to 14. Trying to spread the ball from left to central position. Italy, a defensive line of cover all along the 22, drawing in the Scots who concede the penalty. That attack comes to nothing. 19-14 it remains, closing in on the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, they got out of jail there, Scotland. It was, you know, just looked like Italy were going to get something out of it, and Ali Price, I think, does he intercept? Or there's certainly a steal, and Price goes pretty much half the length of the pitch, and then Scotland keep it alive, play well, but he's penalised Xander Fagerson for off his feet, sealing off, which, I mean, I could have counted that 6 or 7 times in the game today with other players doing the same thing, and for some reason they're not penalties and this one is. But yeah, it's, you know, it's got a bit lucky there, and then blew it by just that lack of discipline again, isn't it?
What's that?
Watching on as the penalty then. Paolo Garbisi from hand, downfield, carrying the halfway line. It'll be a throw in just in front of the east stand. Further changes made by both Italy and Scotland. WP Nell on the park. Luco Morisi, the London Irish, back also on for the closing stages. And Xander Fagerson making way with 10 minutes of the contest left to play. So Fagerson off, WP Nell is on. Throw in for Italy, one again by Ruza. just inside the Scotland half of the field. Italy across on their right hand side, looking for willing runners. Scotland a line of defensive cover, and you can see Ben Healy waving his arms around, just trying to direct defensive operations for the Scots at the moment, as it's back once more with Brex. Takes the ball in with the right shoulder, outside centre. Scotland another steal though. Comes back, taken on there by Matt Fagerson. Uncertainty of the options left and right by Fagerson. Box kick from Price on the angle, bounces once, twice, and then bounces a third time before not finding touch and finding that hands there of Garbisi, who came across, pinged one left-footed downfield. Back inside the Scotland half, the chip and chase, the high up and under. Ben Healy taking a sore one there as he was following his own kick through just on the edge of the Italian 10-metre line. Then Ali Price tried the box kick, not enough height on it just to try and get across the line of Italian defensive cover immediately in front of him. Price has it again, just inside the Italian half of the field. Cummings takes it on, fairly central, stopped short of that 10-metre line. Price in behind again, on towards that left-hand side. Matt Fagerson this time tries to carry, again stopped short of the Italian 10-metre line. Scotland 19, Italy 14. Just over 8 minutes of the contest left to play. Cummings has it once more. Scotland again just trying to find a way through this well-marshalled Italian defence. Kinghorn with 2 tries, one for Van der Merwe. Tommaso Allen with Italy's only try score so far in the game, as Ali Price finds a box kick, bounces once favourably into touch then for the Scots, who take play back into the Italian 22. Scotland 19, Italy 14.
Nice option by Ali Price. Scotland not really going anywhere, just opting to stick that ball back deep into Italian territory, force them to play out again. It's a ploy that's worked. For the first 70 minutes for Scotland, the Italians now absolutely exhausted, both sets of boys out on their feet. Ali Price taking the sting out of the game. There's only 5 points in this, slowing it down and forcing Italy once again to play from deep.
Yeah, when you're tired and you're in front, you want to ask the other team you're playing against to go 80 metres to try and score. The way Italy are playing, they'll try it. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And have they got the ability? They probably have. They're probably not showing it that often, but they probably have got that ability to go the whole length and score.
Another score update from Fir Park. 6th goal. It's now Motherwell 2, Rangers 4. Tillman scoring into the final 10 minutes of the match at Fir Park. And while here at Murrayfield, Scotland 19, Italy 14. Italy throw in and made a mess of that inside their own 22. Scotland then chasing a bonus point try, but handling going astray. Very flat running, intersection there from Redpath. Redpath gets back to his feet. The referee though had whistled him out to blow for an infringement outside of that 22. Scotland knocking forward, picked up by the officials down below us. An untidy spell ending there. What we thought was an opportunity there for Cam Redpath, as there was the interception from Redpath. He went to deck, got back to his feet. The referee had already blown.
Yeah, you always kind of coach players, if you get a turnover, try and put a couple of passes in, get the ball away from where the point of contact is. But actually Nels Nels' decision to make the pass there was pretty poor. You just put the heat down and went for it, because he just was it Matt Fagerson? He gave whoever it was, and he gave him an absolute hospital pass. The guy got man and ball and knocked it on. So a little bit of mistake there from a tight head. It's unusual for tight heads to make mistakes, but there's a wee one there.
Once in a blue moon, would you say? Once in a blue moon?
As much as that.
Italy then, free kick awarded as they were lining up the scrum just outside of their own 22 central. 6 minutes of the game left to play. Be another set piece. Crowd have perhaps had a little bit more to get excited about in the second half, not as stodgy as it was in the first 40.
The start of the second half was really good, and you thought when we got to 19-6 that would have just kicked on from that, but we've just not. We lacked a bit of control after we went 19-6 up, and then Italy came into it, but Italy didn't come into it massively. Just I think a little bit of too many errors from us, probably not great game management from us. I've let the Italians stay in the game, and with 5 minutes to go, have a chance to still win.
There's Andrew Garbisi then fourth international for the Benetton scrum half, feeds it in. Drex picks up Italy, then looking to spread it out towards the right hand side. Acceleration there from Bruno, a one-on-one with Van der Merwe, forcing Bruno into the offload. And the ball going loose, but it's been picked up once again by the Italians as they're between the 10 and 22 now, down their right hand side. Again, Garbisi trying to link up with some of the replacements. Zani this time taking the ball on with the offload, finds his captain Lamaro. Italy trying to work it towards that left hand side, and they've got a few options down the left. One of them is JC, but he's forced out and into touch there as he was asked a lot of his teammates. Kyle Steyn coming across very quickly. 4.5 minutes of the game left to play. 19-14 to the Scots.
Yeah, he's given, I'm not sure what he's given the penalty for, taking somebody off the ball. It's a great tackle. Yeah, 22. Healy pushes the Italian player was going to go down onto the ball, and Healy pushes him. Yeah, it's just a innocuous push, but enough to put the guy off, and Scotland will have a 5 metre line out to defend.
And trying to protect a lead with 4 minutes to go. Scotland 19, Italy 14. Italy have made a few headlines in the past in the Six Nations with late success at Murrayfield. Manfredi, then the replacement hooker, ball above the head, finds Italian hands in the line and then joins in the drive.
Use it.
Alessandro Garbisi with the recycle ball into Morisi then. Look at Morisi up towards that final 4 metres of pitch as Italy look to recycle. Garbisi once more. On come the on-rushing attacking players here. Scotland having to defend right underneath their own post, protecting a 19-14 lead. Italy getting closer and closer. They're camped right underneath those sticks. Garbisi again, well, it's actually the skipper this time with a bit of a hospital pass. Italy making a mess of that inside the 22. Van der Merwe was able to just interfere with play there. They're coming together involving Jamie Ritchie, but penalty given against the Scots after it got very ragged in that Italian attack.
Great, thank you. Number 8, offside.
Offside decision given against Jack Dempsey. Glasgow Warriors back row forward penalised. Scotland players then, many of them down on one knee or hands and hips, readying themselves along their own try line. Scotland 19, Italy 14, 2.5 minutes left at Murrayfield. Scotland looking for a third win in the Six Nations. Italy looking to make late headlines and get their opening win of the campaign. Little tap and go then. Italy pick and drive Scotland back. Camped again on that line. Garbisi on this time towards another replacement. Ziliani, he's got. Garbisi goes in once more. Out this time towards Morisi. Morisi going towards the line. Advantage coming the way of Italy once more. Oh, they found a little gap there, but closed very quickly by Kyle Steyn. Another penalty then after that short period of advantage played by Angus Gardner. And this is just cranking up the tension around Murrayfield with under 2 minutes of the game left to play. Italy camped deep inside the Scotland 22. Scotland 19, Italy 14.
Number 23 on that time, number 8 on the other time. They clearly need to be back on side. Yeah, it's all right, I'll give you time. Yeah.
It's really interesting on the decisions of what's offside. When Scotland had all the pressure on the Italian line at the beginning of the second half, on 3 or 4 occasions players' hands were in front of the ball. Now that's offside in front of the try line, and the referee's telling them to lift their hands, and they're not lifting them, they're still keeping them there. But he's playing on, and now all of a sudden, so it's I know there's thousands of decisions need to get made, but when they're as tight as this, you've got to be the right ones.
Another tap and go from 5 metres out. Italy again looking at their options. Clock ticks down, 90 seconds left to play. Scotland 19, Italy 14. Ball at the feet of Zani, the replacement loose head prop. Federico Zani trying to control it. Scotland again, Ritchie mindful of the Scotland defence and the importance of defence. They've been able to close the door and draw in the Italian infringement. Scotland 19, Italy 14 remains the score with just over a minute left to play.
Lamaro still querying the decision. He thinks that the pick and go that Italy have tried to execute, they've come back into a retreating Scottish defender, and therefore it should be offside, but he's knocked the ball on before he's made contact with that defender. Play on. A big defensive moment for Scotland, scrambling under their own sticks. 40 seconds left to play in this game.
Biggest scrum of the season. Got to get this right, and also you've got to it's what you do it as well, because if you just put it out anywhere, there still gives Italy that chance. Do you try and play a few phases and then play out, or do you just go straight 9 to 10 as far down the pitch as you can?
They're going to take
Blair
as
Kinghorn.
long as they can to set this scrum. They're going to get this ball, channel one, they're going to hook it back, and they're going to stick it straight into the stands behind them. But Italy are going to chuck everything at this. One big effort for Scotland. You can hear the crowd.
Price then feeds the ball into the scrum. Outstretched arms. Clock now goes 80. Price scampers away. On then towards Kinghorn. Out towards the left hand side. Van der Merwe outside the 22. Over the 10 metre line. Over halfway. Is able to find Kinghorn. And Scotland are going to be in for a marvellous try. From one end of the field to the other. The two try scorers this afternoon, Van der Merwe and Blair Kinghorn. A little bit of champagne rugby right at the end of the contest. The scrum, Ali Price out towards Kinghorn to Van der Merwe. He was over 10, he was over halfway. He found Kinghorn, who galloped on into the 22, punching the air, gritting his teeth. Another hat-trick for Blair Kinghorn against the Italians. It's Scotland 24, Italy 14, and what a way to conclude the championship for the Scots.
Yeah, and it all came from the scrum. Scotland got the penalty advantage. That's why they played it out. They knew they had the advantage. They knew that if they mucked it up, they were coming back for the penalty, which would have been full time. But yeah, what a bit of quality just to finish, you say, Stuart, to finish off the Six Nations full length of the pitch. And you know, Van der Merwe being a big part of that, and Kinghorn scoring his hat-trick, which will definitely give a man of the match now.
What an incredible finish though, from underneath their own sticks. Me being the defeatist, I'd knock the ball out, game over, but like you said, the advantage, why not, let's play, finish with a flourish. And it really does change the story of the game, because that was touch and go. That could very easily have been a 79th minute loss, and all of a sudden 12-point cushion.
And it's hat-trick man Blair Kinghorn who strikes the final 2 points to give Scotland a 26 points to 14 win over the Italians. A hat-trick for Blair Kinghorn. A wonderful finish. An opening Scotland try it was from Duran van der Merwe. If you get the chance to see the pictures later on to see how he was able to ground the ball as he was almost in full flight, grounding the ball, touching it down for the opening Scotland try. That after Tommaso Allan had scored a penalty to give Italy the lead in 7 minutes. Allan's second penalty coming in 15 minutes had Italy back in front by 6 points to 5. But then Kinghorn's first try of the afternoon converted, gave us a half-time score of Scotland 12, Italy 6. And then Kinghorn scoring 2 tries in the second half, and the second of those is hat-trick score coming practically on the final whistle. Tommaso Allan also on the score sheet, making things very interesting when he popped up on the left hand side to finish off a fine Italian move. Italy were then in the closing stages piling the pressure on the Scotland defence inside that Scotland 22. Opportunity after opportunity going a begging for the visiting side. They couldn't break down a resolute Scotland defence, and then Scotland with that final play from one end of the field to the other, providing Kinghorn with another opportunity to score a hat-trick against the Italians and give us a final score of Scotland 26, Italy 14.
Scotland in the Six Nations.